She's even told me they shirts going on with.
Welcome. But hold on, guys. I got an intro for you guys first before we do this. Welcome to another episode of season 1 of the Dark Den. I got a special guest coming on. His name is the Human Nightmare, aka Kelly White. He hosts his own podcast too, so I'm going to bring him on so he can talk about his podcast.
Hey, what's up, Wolf? How you doing?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me, man.
Boys. Hey, you have 1 hour.
Hey, I see a Chad Dixon out there somewhere. Chad Dixons are great things to have, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He's actually friends with me on my Facebook.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's part of our TKN family where my show, Indie Tales, airs. We're still getting a schedule up right now. We're looking to go about every 3 weeks. It is an hour-long program. It is currently on StreamYard to Facebook, YouTube. Next show is
King Kelly. You are the best brother.
I think he means beast. He did say beast. That's kind of a
Wait,
thing.
Here's a question: do you actually is that your Facebook group chat, the Indie Tales?
Yeah, that's the show group. We've got about 1,200 people there. I do have a chat as well, so
I'm part of that one.
Awesome.
I'm posting a lot of stuff in there.
Awesome.
I'm posting a lot of stuff in there about our show.
Cool. Yeah. Anything wrestling. I mean, even if you're a fan, dropping a few pictures or an opinion, that's a thing with Indie Tales. Our claim to fame as the most comprehensive independent pro wrestling show on planet Earth, because we leave no stones unturned. We don't leave anybody out. I mean, everybody from the lady taking tickets at the door, handing out hot dogs to the fans in the chairs, all the way up to, your common, having a wrestler on the show. We're supposed to have Stan Hansen this coming, week from today. So it's always good to have somebody from the golden era. So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Okay, I see a ring behind you. How big is that ring right now? 12 by 12 or 16 by 16?
That is a 16 by 16. That is actually from Top Notch Wrestling Alliance. That's a little pick from, I believe, one of their shows that I used to be on back in the day. Been retired a little over a year now. Really miss it, but it's good to be able to pick your exit time. So many guys in our business do not get to do that, unfortunately.
Kelly's show is awesome. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to watch an episode of it.
Yeah, YouTube, the new network. Just pop over to YouTube, look for the new network. We're about a little north of 60,000 subscribers currently, looking to hit 100,000 by the end of the year. So yeah, up and coming, moving right along. That's the nice thing about being on TKN for me. Our founder and CEO, Avi Klein, who's been part of, for lack of a better term, the Hollywood scene. He's also well connected in the wrestling business. He actually got in the ring back in the day years ago. And with that, forged a lot of friendships. We have, I'm not sure how many, but I know we've got probably 30 plus WWE Hall of Famers on the roster that, you know, a lot of those guys will probably end up appearing on my show. But the door's open for guys just like you, fans like Chad, anybody, you know, as long as we can make the time, set a schedule to get you on the show. And we're doing live now. We were doing pre-recorded last year, but we're actually doing live now. So
Nice.
It is. Our big show, of course, for TKN, the new network, is the Green Room. That's on tomorrow night, starts at 8 p.m. It's on Facebook, also on YouTube. And we do have a wrestler on there. We're currently in the Second Chance Bowl portion of. Oh, absolutely. I'll just keep running my mouth, dude. I'm a wrestler. You know, I know how to do that.
Here, go ahead. I just got to move the TV. That's all.
But we are in the Second Chance Bowl portion of the TKN Celebrity Grand Tournament. And so tomorrow night, we've got TKN Green Roomer, Phil Justin, old biker dude. He's a cool guy. We've got Dr. Matt Fink, keyboardist from Prince and the Revolution, and the Ice Veins Glacier Ray Lloyd, all debating it out tomorrow night to see if one of them can kind of get out of the loser's lounge. Actually, two of them get out of the loser's lounge and into the second round of the celebrity tournament, where we've got other great wrestlers such as Jacques Rougeau, Mick Foley, Sergeant Slaughter, Jerry Briscoe, whole lot of guys.
You just did Sergeant Slaughter? Oh my God.
Yeah, I was actually a judge on the match between Sergeant Slaughter, Mick Foley, and actress Cindy Pickett.
Oh my God. Cactus Jack, 8K.
Oh, yeah.
Mankind.
Trivia question. What was Cactus Jack's last name?
Oh, God. I don't remember Cactus Jack's last name, man. It's tickling my tongue, man. It's tickling my tongue.
They made him drop it not too long after he hit WCW. I think they were catching flack because it was Cactus Jack Manson, i.e. like Charlie Manson. And I think it just had a connotation they didn't go for. A hell of a heel last name, though, if you're going to do it. So, yeah, he just dropped that, went to just Cactus Jack. And then, of course, when he got, WWF, WWE now, he also had the Mankind, Dude Love. Which if you can get your hands on, and I've got it downstairs in my old VCR collection, The Three Faces of Foley is a hell of a watch.
Lucky man. I love Mankind, man. He was the biggest hardcore. He was a hardcore legend.
And very interesting to watch in a debate. The dude is good. I mean, he's extremely intelligent, which Mick never kind of portrayed that, but he really is. He can't get away from it. And, he's a hell of a humanitarian. One of his talking points was, playing Santa Claus at Christmas for kids, for Make-A-Wish and, kids having issues. Yeah, he's a big-hearted dude, really is. And it was a pleasure to share the screen with him. I never got to share the ring with him. Had the opportunity, but you know how it is in the Indies. I could not get out of my 9 to 5 to go do it. So my tag partner, he was there, and he was so proud. Mick busted a toilet seat over his head at the end of a hardcore match. So,
all right, here's a question with you, Kelly. How long have you been in the game as a indie wrestler?
I did it for 31 years. Now I had kind of a big layoff. I had some life changes, job changes, had some issues with folks in the business. And, I didn't quit. I didn't retire. I just kind of let myself fade away. I thought, hey, just put it in the rear view. It was a set portion of my life. The downside to when I left was, however, this is when the internet really came into play and made promoting yourself 1,000 times easier than it was when I was really pushing. I don't know, if you know about this, but back in the day before the internet, if you wanted to get, in front of another promotion, one, you had to know some people, had to get the address for the booker. You had to cut a promo tape on VHS tape and physically mail it to them and hope they would watch it and hope they would return it, because those things got expensive to make. So it wasn't just, throwing a little video up or something on the internet and, networking like it is these days. It was tough to move up a notch. And I kind of missed that. I took a good bit of time off, came back kind of late, ran about another 6 years. But with being able to do that, I was able to say, definitively when I was walking away, I had an actual retirement match. Like you're supposed to. I went out looking at the lights and, kind of passed that torch to another guy. Got my plaque, got my roses, and it felt really good. It felt really good to be able to do that, because I know so many. I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I love your story, man. You are, dude, honestly, my guy actually told me you were the human nightmare. Then I actually went back and looked up some of your stuff, and I said, oh my God, this guy been through a lot. And I can see you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Means you've been a wrestler for 33 years, you said.
31. I started in 92 and I retired April 29th, 2023.
Why do they call you the human nightmare?
It was my gimmick. I came out with it. It wasn't my first gimmick. My first gimmick, we can talk about that in a minute. I kind of had to reinvent myself. I broke with my trainer, and my initial promotion kind of went out on my own. Kind of went through some transition phases, trying to find my niche, and that's what came out of it. And it's what actually stuck. And it was a heel style that fit me. That I was able to, portray in full. It was an extremely believable gimmick. And that was one thing I always prided myself on. I'll never claim that, I was the best bumper, the best at executing. Thanks, Chad. Any of those accolades, but I will say this, I was able with that gimmick to go in and tell a very, very realistic and believable story with pretty much anybody that would work with me. So that was that. And the nightmare portion is, I was kind of a hard sell on stuff. You can ask a lot of guys, especially I did a lot outside. The end of my career was a lot of street fights, just outside. Fans bring the weapons, everything from swords to tasers.
That's kind of hurt. Oof.
Yeah, they can. But one of the big things was, you really had to get in there to make me sell. I took some hellacious chair shots and just looked at the guy. It's just part of my gimmick. Yeah, I'll pay for it a little bit. I ended up with 18 so concussions throughout the career. So
I never took a chair shot yet, but I'm planning on it soon against somebody in time. I'm planning on getting chairs. I'm planning on actually stepping up harder into chairs, tables, and all that stuff. That's what I want to step into.
Okay. There's a little added risk with doing that, but not, people think, oh, that's the crazy hard. It's crazy and hard if you're working with people that don't know what they're doing.
True.
It's all about the knowledge factor.
You don't know how to use it. Like we always say in our promotion, if you don't know how to use the weapons, don't use them.
Exactly. That's what brings fans bring the weapons interesting, because you never know what you're going to get, and you have to improvise very often. The match, the taser showed up in, the other guy was working, got it before me. Somebody handed it to him because I was healing. He was the face. And so they made sure he got the taser. So I ended up going down. He comes over with that taser and he did me a big solid. He put it on my leather boot. I didn't feel a thing, but I sold the hell out of it.
He tased your leather boot and you didn't feel nothing from it?
Nope, didn't. You could hear it sparking. The crowd was screaming. It was going off, and I was, throwing.
You just started like jumping or something?
Oh, I was like, just freaking, throwing a damn spasm at it. But you keep in mind, prior to that, he was a small dude. He was an aerialist. David Day was his name. I don't know if he wrestled after that, and it wasn't anything I did, but he went ahead and juiced. We knew it was coming up. I set it up, and he did a good juice job. And he was small enough. I took him over to the concrete block wall in the auditorium, grabbed him by his ass and the top of his neck, and I picked him up, and I put his initial D on the wall. Sorry about that.
No problem. It's okay.
But yeah,
How many titles have you won in your whole career?
oh, I mean, there's been a bunch. Carrying a belt was never a huge thing for me, but yeah, I've had a couple dozen, I would guess. BWA, SCW, TWA, WW, WVE, WVWE. Yeah, I probably can't remember half of them. Like I said, I've had 18 concussions, man. Sometimes I get up in the morning, check my ID to see who the hell I am.
That's gotta be a lot of because everyone tells us, even with us, make sure you do your matches so you'll get no concussions or nothing. Make sure you like practice before you kick on that show. Go on your match and actually practice it first before you actually go live.
You got to think. I mean, that's good if you can do it, but keep in mind in the indies, a lot of times there's nowhere to practice. You show up and you're shaking hands with a guy you've never seen before in your life.
I don't even
And
know
you got to go out there and trust.
I don't even know if I'm ready for the indies, man. I'm 37, man. I just want to do this backyard stuff for right now. I don't know if I'm ready for this indie stuff.
I mean, one of the worst ones I got, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just one of those things. I have the utmost respect for this guy. He's a little older than me. He's been retired for a good while. He did a lot of WCW, ECW, PWX stuff up in Pittsburgh, and he was one of my favorite people to work. His name Tarantula, T-Rantula. You can look him up. Big old boy, hell of a worker. And he was on my show, BWA, Blood War Wrestling Alliance, here in Parkersburg. And he didn't tell me this was coming. I was actually the face in this one with the hometown crowd. And he'd come out, got some heat. I came out, rushed into the ring, jumped in. He jumps out. I'm doing the going to the four corners, getting up on that second turnbuckle, getting the crowd. He slides into the ring. Mind you, 6'7", about 340. He grabs me by the ass of my pants and the top of my shirt. I always wore a wrestling shirt. And he just all the way over his head just heaves me pretty much 15 feet across the ring. And, so I'm coming from about 8-9 feet in the air. I take that bump, and no matter what I did, I couldn't help my head snap back and hit. And everything just turned yellow and started closing in. I was about ready to pass out. When he comes over and lands on me, he's like, "You okay, brother?" And I was like, "You about knocked me out, you big son of a bitch." And yeah, that was a major concussion there, but we had one hell of a match. He chucks me out of the ring. I can't remember a lot of what happened, but I know the crowd was into it. It was a good match.
I give you this a lot of respect, Kelly, definitely for what you've done, plus all the wrestling you've done, plus your show, plus all the years you've done it. And would you ever get back into it if anyone actually called you out of retirement? Ever?
I'm not at the age to say definitely no. I mean, I retired for valid reasons. I'd already planned on retiring when I did, but I did have I screwed up both knees that last year, and I've had 3 surgeries. They didn't go well, but I'm officially retired. But for quite some time, if need be, I'm going to have one more left. If you know what I mean, Wolf. I'm going to have one more left for quite some time. There'll come a time I won't. That might be 2 years, might be 5 years. I don't know. And I don't plan on making any habits of it. I actually did a battle royal this past April. One specific reason. And it was the fact that right 4 days after I retired, a very good friend of mine that we just got to do some work together. We'd known each other a while, had a lot of respect. He was a young kid. He was 27 years old, and I got the call 4 days after I retired that he had a head-on collision and died.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel bad. Definitely, you got blown. You pretty much had that surgery on your knees. People always say if you do certain moves on your knees, you can blow them.
Well, you can, and it was my own dumbass fault. They had an impromptu battle royal on a show, and they're like, "Cage, can you out there and jump in?" It's like, "Well, you didn't tell me. I'm not planning on." They kept pestering me. It's like, "Fine, I'll go out there." And I was kind of the big bad monster. Well, there was a couple other monsters in the ring, a couple other guys, but I just went in there and beat all 4 down in the corner. I wasn't supposed to be over, so it looked kind of dumb for me to slide out of the rope. So I don't know if you remember it, but the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels used to have this exit move where they would like flip up over the top all the way down. And I used to do it myself on occasion. Well, I tried it after not doing it for a hell of a long time. And the signal from my brain to my knees to bend before I hit the concrete floor did not arrive in time. So you had about 280 pounds straight down on the concrete, and I splattered the cartilage in both knees.
Oh.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt.
They
So a
always
lot of
say
it's not there anymore. It got taken out.
Like I said, man, like you told me in the chat, man, you told me all this stuff, dude. I give you credit for what you've done, man, and watch these young guys follow your steps.
Yeah, I mean, I try to pass on where I can. I'm not one of these guys that walks into every locker room and, plays the vet card. I am a vet, and, nobody has treated me anything but I'll give advice when it's asked for. I'll critique a little bit when I see something, but, I'm not back there running my mouth and acting like a big shot in any locker room, whether it was when I was working.
Have you seen the show Game Over yet?
I have not. I've not seen it. So you got me at a loss there.
Definitely give us critiques. What's going on, man? We're willing to learn from you. Like,
okay,
I'm here. Like, that's why I bring people on my show or wrestlers, so I can learn from you guys too. Even ask you guys questions, because I want to get better too with the selling, the promos. I'm 37, and I actually had to re-switch my move with my stunner. I used to go on my knee. Then I heard it can blow my knee up. That's why I take a butt bump / back bump combined when I land it now. I don't do the knee anymore because I'm not trying to blow my knees out.
Right. And, that's the thing with age, all that stuff gets a little more brittle, a little weaker. There's some old dudes still in the business, and they'll get out there and work. But if you watch them, most of the time they don't bump. They do cutesy stuff, stay on their feet, punches and chops and, maybe a big boot. And, they leave it at that.
Ric Flair doesn't do bumps anymore when he got older.
Yeah, I love Rick. I mean, I don't know him personally, but yeah, he was, in my book, he was the GOAT, but he stayed in it too long. He should have got out, stayed out, and just, kept the crown. But
just like Undertaker. Undertaker he retired. He was getting up in age.
Yep, he retired from the same age I did. I retired the day before.
A lot back for what he did through all the bull and the blood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same here. And, I really respect his decision. I'd already made up mine, but yeah, I can't applaud enough, that to be able to go out on your own terms, but mean it when you do it. Don't be climbing back in, a couple of months and, just be everywhere, if you're going to get back in there at all, make it mean something. Like I said, I got in a battle royal simply as a memorial to a dear friend of mine that died. His family was there. The fans were there. And it meant a lot to me. And I had everybody going, brother, you still got to come back. And I'm like, no, because I know one wrong turn, my knee's going to go. And, it's back on the table with knives. And I'm trying to avoid that.
Pretty much you put your boots on one more time, and then you say you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, I plan on, staying in decent shape and, having one more in me just in case. But I don't have any need to really use it. Because there's going to come a time even then, it's not going to be.
How the young kids are. Like I said, even when I retire from Racine County, when I retire, I'm going to have one retirement match, then I'm done. Even the Young Bucks try to pop me out. I'm not coming out. I'm just going to stay and watch behind the stage.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still go to shows. I do some commentary on one. Other times I just kind of do locker room stuff, and I get some pictures for the show and whatnot. And like I said, I'll throw some advice. It's all good. It's do I miss it? Hell yeah, I miss it a lot. But
I'm definitely gonna have to bring you over to I'm gonna have to bring you into our management in Racine County and get us advisory information, just like Michael Black. He actually helps us too.
I'd be happy to. And, like I said, I know what good execution bumps look like. I don't claim to be the best, but one thing I say I can do is I can teach you guys, if you're not up to par, how to tell a story in the ring. That's what it's about.
We need somebody like that. We need somebody can help we have a creative officer, but we need somebody who can actually do storytelling with us. So we're trying to get better stories, because I went to a friend of mine, Michael. His gimmick is, he has a gimmick, and we talked to him all day, and he said do a Kurt Angle style, like John Cena kind of thing, and make that kind of story between two people. And I'm thinking about talking to management and see if that could work. Because management, I talked to a lot about. I talked to Adonis, the owner, and all that, and it'll actually work between two people, a Kurt Angle and a John Cena kind of style story going after each other. Because how Kurt and John got into it, that story came really good.
It did. It did for them in their particular situation. Could it work for somebody else? Sure. Wrestling's been around forever and a day. It's hard to be 100% brand new on something as far as any kind of storyline.
Oh, yeah,
the thing is, the classics still work. I mean, it's always a contest between good and evil, the good guy and the bad guy. And, the promotion is going to decide, who's really over, because you can't give the crowd everything they want every time or they're going to quit showing up.
I'm trying to say this, and I love taking one thing from Ric Flair, and I love the saying is, and I always say it. He may have been the dirty player of his year. I'm the new dirty of the player in our promotion. Right. I'm the top nastiest heel there is.
That was one thing I loved about being a heel. I think it allows you to be way more creative.
Of course.
Especially, when you get familiar with, people around. I mean, one of the biggest heel moments I had, and I mean, they wanted to flip and kill me. We had a good house, and we had this guy. He ran the camera work, because this was real cameras at the time. Like I said, this is before internet, so he was catching it on VHS.
Yeah, definitely.
It was called Fat Guy in a Wheelchair's production out of Ohio University, because he was a fat guy in a wheelchair with a fake leg. And we decided he wanted to get in on it, and I was healing, so he decided on my match he was going to really start just ragging me and mouthing me out there. And the crowd was loving it because he was good. He was good with his mouth. It was a smaller arena, 100 people, he could be heard. And at the end of it, after I got beat, I get out of the ring, and he's mouthing the hell out of me, and I come by, and I just grab his fake leg that he'd unstrapped, and I rip it off, and I take it like this, and I just knock him in his wheelchair over right in front of the whole crowd, throw the leg on him, and walk off. They thought they were going to have to call the cops to get me out of there that night, because there were people waiting outside way after the show.
I mean, you played the heel of your show then.
Oh yeah, I was heel most of my career. There were a few face turns or just a few particular shows. Like it was always faced in my hometown.
I tried the babyface. A lot of my fans hate me as babyface. They actually text me on my Facebook or my fan page, and they said, "Go back to heel. We love you as a heel. You're more evil or more nastier." I said, "Yeah, you're right. They missed the claw in the face, the low blow. If I do this, I get on my knees and I beg for mercy. Say, come on, please, spare me." Wham.
Gotcha. I mean, with my healing, I would use the nasty moves, all of them, get real sadistic. But kind of the way I created the character, one of the problems with healing sometimes, the gimmick was cool. I mean, I had face paint, I had spikes, I had chains.
I love the stories too, Chad. They're really good, interesting stories.
I borrowed some, of course, from LOD, the Road Warriors. They were, somebody I looked up to. Main inspiration for my character, though, is from a movie called Highlander. And the bad guy in that movie was the Kurgan. And that's who I really modeled the character after. But with that, he was kind of so cool that sometimes, even if I'm healing like hell and pissing people off, I got so many people cheering me because he was a cool character. So
definitely.
The cowardly heel will always get more heat. They always will.
The claw in the eyes. I do the wolf and the claws in the eyes. I do the rake on the back.
Yeah.
I get yelled at from the ref a lot for doing stupid things. I tell the ref, get out of my way, or you're going to get the next move on you. If you don't get him out of my way.
Oh, yeah. I always give the refs hell all the damn time. That's classic heel. Hey, Chad knows the movie. There can be only one.
Oh, definitely. That's a good movie. Okay. What actually inspired you to get into wrestling?
Little kid. I lived with my grandparents for the first, 4 or 5 years of my life. My mom had a lot of medical issues, was in the hospital a lot. And I remember my grandmother, and this is back, we had a black and white TV. You had 3 channels, so I don't know exactly, what promotion is back in territory days, but she'd get on there, get it up on TV, and it was Dick the Bruiser and Dusty Rhodes when he was young, and that whole crowd, and she would get so into it. I actually saw her after watching for a year. She broke the arm on her easy chair.
Really?
And I don't know, she just inspired me by being so into it herself. I kind of stayed a fan until I got out of the Army. And it's like, I'm a good sized guy. Why don't I give it a try? So, I started looking for an opportunity. First opportunity fell through. And if you got time for another story, I'll tell it. It's a funny one.
Definitely. I'm definitely into these stories. It's interesting. Honestly, I love learning from, I like listening to Indy's old history and stories. It actually inspires me into say, damn, this guy's been through a lot. This guy joined the Army. He's been in the Indies. He's been doing his own show. And it gets a lot inspiring to me, Kelly. I love it.
So this story, my fiance at the time, her younger sister was a big wrestling fan, had all the PWI magazines that they'd ever printed. And I would go over to her house and her sister would bring them out with, trying to, be impressive to the older boyfriend. And, I was looking through them, and in one, I discovered a phone number in the back for Big Mama's Flower Shop in North Carolina. And it said a certain wrestler. Oh, sure. I'll hold that for you, bud. So our host is taking a short break. Not sure why. Looks like he's having his supper. I had my supper, but it was kind of early in the day. I may play Hobbit and have a second supper. I do that on occasion because I'm still a growing boy.
I apologize. It's cats. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, we got 3 cats ourselves. I understand that. So anyway,
leave the food alone on the plate.
I looked through PWI magazine and I found this phone number. This is old style magazine, small font. And it said Big Mama's Flower Shop, had a phone number. If you're interested in training with this particular wrestler, give it a call. Well, I'm with my girlfriends. This is before cell phones. I don't want to rack up a charge on her dad's phone, getting bad graces. I'm a 19-year-old kid fresh out of the Army. So it's like, I'll call collect. Not a great idea, but I was young and dumb. So I called collect. Surprisingly, they answered. The lady answered. She said, Big Mama's Flower Shop. And I was like, she's like, who is this? And I said, well, my name's Kelly White. And I saw the ad in PWI. I would like to train with this wrestler. And she's like, you're calling collect. Do you have any money? And a little segue, I think the only reason she answered the phone is she's probably thought I was a worker that may have got stuck on the road or, had to call in to change because the guy was running shows. And I said, well, not yet. I'm looking for work and all that. She says, well, call back when you have some money. Click. That ended my first kind of run at getting in. The wrestler that was doing the training, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, down in North Carolina.
Wow.
So that fell through. I ended up actually getting into it. A buddy of mine who was he's a big old dude. He's about 6'6", about, 260, 270, but about as clumsy as an egg on a wall. Come to my house one day with his arm in a sling and all looking beat up, and said he'd started training for pro wrestling with Playboy Buddy Rose. So I pumped him for information, found out where it was going down, talked to the guy, got in, started, paying a little bit a month, training, paying my dues, setting up the ring, doing all that shit, and, got trained. But jumping back to Jimmy Valiant, a couple years ago, he was actually booked on the same show as me. Now, Jimmy's in his 70s. He wasn't going to get in the ring, but he come down to, meet and greet, sign autographs, all that. And he was on the heel side. I was facing, because it was my hometown, against Mr. 8x10. And so I actually got to work with Jimmy, which was awesome. And I talked to him in the locker room, and I just told him the same story I told you. And I said, here's $3 for that phone call. And he took it and shook my hand.
Oh, wow.
That call back in 1989.
Where are you from? Because I hear that accent.
I am in West Virginia. Pretty much grew up in rural West Virginia. Originally, I'm from Montana, about, a couple hundred, maybe 100 miles south of Canada.
Okay.
but we left there when I was 9.
Do you guys do shows out in Virginia for like regular wrestling shows?
West Virginia, separate state, bro.
I know, and yeah, where you're from? Do you guys do wrestling shows for your own wrestling company?
I don't. No, I used to. Myself and Viper, we had a company called BWA, Blood War Wrestling Alliance, back in the 90s. Our big thing was, have I ever done a ladder match for a title? No, I have not, Chad. I don't like ladders. I've been on them, but it was never a title match.
I've done ladders before. I became the first briefcase, second briefcase winner of wrestling. Because one of the guys used to be it, but I was the second holder of the briefcase. And yes, I don't mind ladders, but they're a pain in the butt to climb up.
Yeah. They have their own set of problems.
Oh yeah.
But no, we ran that for a while, and then that was one of the things that got me out. Me and him had a bit of a blow up, went our separate ways. I got injured, and I had job changes. It was just kind of the perfect storm that, suddenly I couldn't make shows. Promoters, when you can't make a couple shows, they quit calling you. And I even got to the point where when they did call, and I could, it's like, nah, I actually lost interest for a while. So I bowed out. I bowed out for almost 10 years, to be honest.
Wow.
But no, we ran in West Virginia and Ohio. Like I said, we had some really good shows. The whole flaming table gimmick started with us.
I've never done flaming tables yet. Never done thumbtacks. Never done what do you call those things? Barbed wire or light tubes.
Yeah, I've done barbed wire, thumbtacks, flaming tables, all that crazy shit.
How do you not get burned on that table when you go through it? What do you guys do?
Well, like I said, we actually, to my knowledge, now, this was back in the 90s, and it was before ECW did it. They were the next ones to do it. Okay. And the guys that were on our show had some connection to ECW because they were from Pittsburgh, PWX, and Tarantula actually worked on ECW sometimes. So I feel like they carried it. And, there's no copyright in wrestling. Just because you do something, the next guy that sees it, he can do it on his show. That's just the way it is. But we set up the flaming table, and I don't know if you know Lord Zoltan or not. He's been around the business longer than me.
Rings a bell.
I think he actually was active for about 40 years. He did a lot of stuff back in the early WWF and WCW.
Yeah, I used to watch WWF. I used to watch one with Doink the Clown and all that crap.
Good old Doink. But anyway, we told him we're going to try this thing. Here's a bottle of alcohol. We set it up and said, put a little alcohol on the table, make sure it spreads out, light it up. And Tarantula was going to powerbomb Viper off the second rope through the table.
Oh, God.
Well, Kenny Zoltan pours half the freaking bottle of alcohol on there, throws the lighter to it, and suddenly it looks like a barbecue from hell. I mean, flames were in a high school gym on the stage. Flames are shooting towards the ceiling. It's just insane. I'm handcuffed to the ring post on the other side, because it was a group versus group. It was the PWX guys versus House of Chaos, which was us. And Tarantula gets up there and he power bombs Viper through it. Viper had a shirt on. His shirt caught fire. Tarantula's beard caught fire. There's pieces of flaming table everywhere. Viper's over rolling around on the floor on fire. I snapped the hand. There were kiddie kind of play handcuffs. I snapped those, go put him out, and I'm running around stomping out pieces of flaming table. Tarantula's putting his beard out. And guess what? That was the semi-main. I had to follow that.
Oh, God.
So it was me and Bone Crusher after that. And, there was nothing else we could really do to really top it other than a screw job on Tarantula. And I took one hell of a juice job. They said it made Tommy Dreamer's juice job look a little light because I literally had blood in my boots. I mean, it was running like a freaking faucet.
Oh, Lord. I haven't got colored yet. I'm actually planning on getting colored very soon. And I'm planning on getting colored this year. My goal is to actually color before I retire.
There's a place in the business for it. It's getting less approved of by promotions. The guy I told you I put his name on the wall in his own blood. That was the last time they allowed color. And it wasn't anything they had against it. A lot of times you get the people that own the building you're renting. They have problems with it. My advice on coloring, make sure it's worth it. Make sure it's worth it. Don't do it for 12 damn people.
It's definitely going to be worth it. I can't spoil it, but between me and one other person, we have plans, but I really can't spoil what's going on. But I'm planning on getting colored this year.
Yeah. I'm just saying, make sure there's somebody. Don't do it, just to do it. Make sure
No.
you got a crowd, you got a house. That's when
Oh
you
yeah,
want to do it.
we don't really have a crowd, but when it kicks on YouTube, we're gonna get a lot of views between me and this person.
That's still a crowd. That's a modern crowd. I mean, maybe it's not in the house, but if you're getting views to your liking, whether it's 200 or 2,000, yeah, that's a crowd.
I have somebody is a thorn, like a thorn on my foot, or a thorn under my foot.
Okay.
His name goes as on Satan One Skulls. I hit him with a crutch in Backyard Brawl, and I made him relinquish his title to me. He got injured because of me.
Okay, it happens.
I did it myself, hit him with a crutch. I made sure he could not face me, and I told him I'll get this title one way or another. Now he's still been under my thorn. He's at home recuperating and all that. I'm making this title something better than he ever did. Plus, do my shows. He's just a thorn on my foot. Does not know how to. He likes fluffing my fur, getting under the skin.
Yeah. That stuff's going to happen.
I have a turn in my back.
If it's part of the show, that's good. But sometimes, I've been in plenty of locker rooms where and typically, I've seen backyard guys get some training and come up. I've been on shows with some backyard guys, and they leave something to be desired, just to be honest.
I never went to school for training. I actually learned on hands-on.
It's a way to learn. I mean, I don't know if you know Vito Lagrasso.
Maybe.
He used to be part of the Mamalukes in WWF. But he put up a post the other day on Facebook, and he was talking about, vets, teaching new guys, not necessarily going to a school. That is legit. I went to more or less a school. Now it was just one guy running it, Buddy Rose, and he was teaching everybody the same. He was a good trainer. He was a good worker. But if you learning, taking your cues from guys that have been trained or worked their way up, because we ran a school. Me and Viper, when we did BWA, we did have our own schools, BWA Wrestling School. And what I told people, I said, training is 100% everything, whether it's bumping, executing, running the ropes. And I said, here's why. Training doesn't decide if you get hurt or not. It simply decides when and how bad, because you're going to get hurt.
Like Skulls, honestly, everybody knows him as, I know I should name drop him, but Kevin, but whatever, I'm going to give his last name. He's been teaching me stuff on like Messenger. He's been showing me stuff, and he's been teaching me stuff. Like I said, I go to all the older vets like Taylor, Jake Matthews, or people who's been in the game. I'm actually part of PWF, and I've been getting a lot of props from them. They're actually helping me, and I told them I want to get better in my promos, better in my selling. I know I can sell, but I want to get better at it. I know how to do it. When you hit my certain leg and you keep going after the same part, I'm definitely going to keep selling that part. You grab my ankle, I'm going to keep selling, and limping. We're just trying to get better at selling. I want to make our shows look better. And we actually proved for what happened at Backyard Brawl. We had a lot of mess ups, and someone actually got injured, but we refixed it, and people were still hitting us with this about, you got screwed up once, how can we trust you again? I said, give us a chance. We proved it at Game Over. Everything went all in line.
Right.
We made sure everything was safe. I just don't like people not like, misleading when like backyard wrestlers or indies getting on our backs and saying, don't do the game if you can't handle the game, or you guys are not for it. I love it. That's why I do it. It keeps my mind occupied, and I like enjoying it. This is my favorite sport. I love wrestling.
No, I fully understand that. and I see a lot of it. I'm almost maxed out on Facebook friends, and probably the vast majority are wrestlers in some way, shape, or form. And there's an elitist crowd out there that if you've not been to almost a name school and done this and done that, oh, you shouldn't be in there. Go buy a ticket and sit in the chair. And no, I don't agree with that. If you're going out and getting into it, and there's a high potential you're going to hurt someone due to lack of knowledge, lack of preparation, or lack of training, yes, take a seat. But anybody can get there, and there's different routes to it. Those things kill you, dude. Don't do that.
Sorry. I know. My vape is better than smoking cigarettes. I heard.
I've heard that. I don't know. Never did either.
I vape here on my show. You get a little bit of me, like Skull does.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, yeah, the ring is the best place to train, but you can do a lot of stuff outside the ring. And especially, I mean, if you're,
we're trying to get a ring, and it's money. That's why we use mats. I know they're not safe.
It is a lot of money. It is a lot of money.
No, they're not safe, but we use what we got.
Mats aren't bad. The thing is, they don't have the give that a modern wrestling ring has. And I mean, they're not a trampoline if you've ever been in an actual ring. But
I've been in a ring, like I tell people, even when we get one, I told the new people that your guys are going to feel that pain. They say, how you know? I said, I've been in a ring before. It's pain. You're going to feel that pain in your body. You're going to feel those bumps. You're going to feel those bruises. Yep. If you can't handle it, don't get in that ring. And like I told you, and I may not be management, but I'm one of the most safest members of our roster. If you get in the ring with me, you better know what you're doing in those ropes. You better know how to bump and all that. I'm not going to face you if you don't know what you're doing. It'll be on my heart if you get hurt.
Yeah, and I mean that's the outlook you need to have, because whether you've known each. Hey, hello there. Whether have known the guy or trained with him, or whether it's the first time you're meeting him, you're literally putting each other's lives in the other person's hands. I mean, standing suplex. What if the guy just simply drops you on your head and falls on you? There's a broken neck.
I faced this guy right there. That guy right there, the owner, Adonis. We know how to face each other. I faced the Savage one. I finally defeated him. Like I said, I know how to work with my opponents, and like even if I ever faced you, Kelly, I know how to work with you and make sure we're both safe. I will follow. Normally, if you have more up there for your years, I'll follow with you and those steps. That's how I do it with people, even with Skulls or anyone has higher experience. I follow and lead with them, so nothing gets messed up.
Exactly. I mean, typical old school protocol, for guys that are tenured, typically in most cases, the heel calls the match. I'm
a heel, but I'm 2 years, but I'd rather have a 10-year or 13-year-old vet.
Well, exactly. That's the exception. If I got in there, if we were working, I would expect to call the match. That's not like I'm dictating all your moves. You have a discussion typically beforehand.
Yeah,
I've been in cases though where you couldn't have, and you get the first time you see who you're working, you get in the ring with them. That's different. Yeah. I've only done it once, but yeah, it's either the heel if you're kind of on equal terms, or the vet that calls the match. And it doesn't mean you can't throw in some of your own stuff, but they're kind of in charge of telling the story. That's what the big deal is. And do you know what the wrestler's handshake is?
Shake. Show them respect.
No. You know how they say, in just general terms, you can tell a lot about a man by his handshake.
Correct.
Wrestling's the same business. When you lock up with somebody, right there, you should have a good idea of what they know and what they can do. Because if they're locking up all soft and lily-nilly, or they're a crowbar, or their head's down.
I put my hand near your neck, and I put my other one on your elbow.
Yeah, I mean, one hand goes here, the other hand typically goes right here, unless you're taller, and then you just overshoot. But the thing is, heads up, eye to eye.
Correct.
When you got somebody coming in and they're all sloppy and looking down, they don't know what they're doing.
I had to show a few people, even this guy named Nicholas Crinson. I had to teach him how, because he wanted to do the hand thing and say, no, we're going to lock up. and I had to show him how to lock up. He finally did it. I went back. He went back. He pushed me. I pushed him. Then I said, yeah. I said, by the way, this is going to hurt. He said, what do you mean this is going to hurt? Technically making it look real. I hit him in the gut, hit him with the DDT to bring him down. I just let him know before I go. We normally talk when we're in that elbow, so I'll let you know what I'm going to do next.
Right.
I just messed with him and said, bro, this is going to hurt. He said, what do you mean it's going to hurt? I said, it's going to be a DDT. He said, boom. And I work with people, even as a ref, I make sure I check on you. Yeah. I go next and say, are you okay?
I mean, you're whoever you're working with, their safety should be your true number one. I mean, we all get into the storytelling and want to do that. But yeah, there's been times a guy sold so well, I thought I hurt him, and I'm making sure if I'm not checking on him, I've pulled the ref over and said, hey, go check on him, to make sure. And, unfortunately, I've been hurt by people and I've hurt people, even being well-trained. Shit happens.
I got hurt once with a messed up swanton bomb. It happens off a ladder. I had to see a doctor, and they cleared me. They said your ribs are a little bruised, but you're fine.
Yeah.
Just heal for 2 days, then go back. Okay.
But that's that's the business, and it is at all levels. But yeah, the initial lockup, old school trained wrestlers. That's kind of what I'm talking about as far as a handshake. It lets each other know where you stand as far as knowing what you're doing, training, the whole 9 yards. If you're locking up properly, not crowbar, not sloppy, not soft, and looking the guy in the eye, that's pretty much a firm handshake. I know we're going to be good.
Yeah, just like Dash Andrews taught me the elbow lock. Michael taught me it at this old promotion I was part of. Like I said, without these people who taught me stuff, I would not be here, even with my name. My name got out here because everybody brought my name out there and promoted my name as who I am. I'm finally known in the wrestling business.
So send me a link or something to something you want me to take a look at. I'll throw you back some feedback.
Definitely,
Happy to do that. Obviously, I do stay busy.
I can tell, man. I definitely want to come on your show. Definitely in time too. I definitely want to come on it.
Yeah, we can do that. Like I said, it's about indies. I'm certainly not going to turn away our celebrity roster if they want to be on the show. Like Mick Foley and those guys. But we got room for everybody. And
definitely. Is it true Mick Foley actually has a hole in his lip? I know it's true because he actually he got a hole. He did something. He got his tooth in his lip or something.
No, it went out his nose, actually.
His nose, okay.
He did bite through his lip, but the tooth that came out in Hell in a Cell versus Undertaker, it actually came through his sinuses and out his nose.
That
was I would have retired after that match if it made. Foley's, I'm a tough guy, but Foley's
how Foley is. He'll never retire, man, until he had to.
He didn't.
My favorite move is Mr. Sacco.
Yeah, that's a good one. But again, my show, Indie Tales, appreciate you letting me plug that. We are scheduled for Friday the 12th, 7 p.m. live with Stan Hansen, and we're going to pick apart an old match of the CEO, Avi Klein, back in his day, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, Green Room, Glacier Ray Lloyd is there debating for his tournament life.
And I'm going to guest tomorrow night on the Hall of Fame. I got to duck somebody on the Hall of Fame tomorrow night on the Dark Den. He's one of the first people. Technically, he's one of the first people on the show. He's going to be inducted tomorrow. Then I got John Nair at July 7th.
Nice. Awesome.
John Nair, N-A-R-A. Yeah.
N-A-R-A.
Jonathan Nair, yeah, he's a wrestler. He's the Dynasty champion of his company.
Cool. Awesome. Got that. Wednesdays, we've got our Black Box show. I've been on there a lot. It's kind of a midweek kind of variety thing.
I'll be on the podcast. So what's that podcast? Keep It Real podcast in August 12th.
Okay. I've seen their ads.
Oh yeah. I had to come on. They said, yeah, sure. They wanted to see some of my stuff. I had Lydia Myers on my show 2 days ago.
Okay.
She's a female wrestler.
Nice. Yeah, there's and she just kind of came on the scene. I think she's paid her dues, but just kind of making a name, or maybe I just picked her up on my friends on Facebook. It's really impressed me. Her name's Erica Demia.
Send me her link. I will definitely shoot her a text and see if she wants to come on the show. And I'm not booked anymore after the 7th.
Gotcha.
I got my
But
own book list now.
she's all up and down the East Coast. I can see her hitting AEW or WWE within a year or two easily.
Definitely send me her message. Send me her link to her Facebook, and I will shoot her a text.
Okay, I can do that. Actual wrestling stuff. Of course, I'm not getting in the ring, but I am gearing up. I'm bringing merch and doing a meet and greet, signing a lot of autographs at the Rapid Wrestling Federation show in Cleveland on August 18th. If you're in the neighborhood, come on by.
Are you going to be in gear?
Yeah, I'm going to gear up. It's just meet and greet's a lot better if throw on the face paint, the spikes.
Definitely hit me a picture, man. I want to see
you do that.
I'm not in my gear right now, but I haven't done a meet and greet yet. I was supposed to do one in Cali, but all those things backed up because I was supposed to do a death match against Skulls, then a table ladder match. Then that got messed up because our booking agent ran and blocked us. But whatever. I don't care about that. I was supposed to do a meet and greet still, and it's so hard to do them out here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but looking forward to that. It's always done them, kind of intermission at shows, go out, sign some autographs and stuff. But first time I've actually went to a show, that's my purpose. So it's going to be a little interesting. I'm sure I'll want to get in the ring, but got to contain myself.
No, I can't do it. If someone runs their mouth, I can't do it.
Oh, it's not can't. Like I said, it's going to be a while before I don't have one left in the tank, but I'm saving it for, if I have to use it, it's going to be for something special. But looks like we're about at our hour. Wolf, I appreciate you having me. I'm going to pass on a piece of advice I got from my, I guess I would have to say he's one of the favorite wrestlers from the golden era that I personally got to meet, be on a card with. I was just starting out. And a piece of advice he gave me that I've taken to heart: never lose your humble. That comes from Ivan Koloff, if you know who that is.
Or never lose your cool in the ring. You want to keep it professional, you pretty much keep your professional and your personal separate. That
is true. But hey, man, appreciate you having me on here. I had a good time. Maybe even do it again sometime.
Definitely. All right, guys, I know I'm going to end the show, but what are your final thoughts before I end this show?
My final thoughts. Well, it's a good question. I think with a lot, wrestling's always evolving. Yeah. But I think it would improve, especially in the indies, if they went back and looked at film or got with people that knew what working a crowd was about. It's becoming a lost art in the indies because so many guys, even the guys that are training now, grew up watching WCW, ECW, WWF, where they're on TV and they know it and they're not working the crowd near as much. That still is what makes an independent show because it's a more intimate setting. You're not in an arena with 55,000 people. You're in a high school gym or an armory with typically 50 to 400 people. And that personal connection by working the crowd really does make the show extra special all the way around. So definitely. That's what I'm going to leave you with. And that's all right,
guys. Thanks for having Kelly White on my show, by the way. Stay tuned for my next show on the 6th with Skulls, and on the 7th, Jonathan Nar. I'm your host, Big Bass Silverwolf. Have a lovely night.